In the YouTube algorithm, the people are represented by three separate yet equally important groups: the one that creates, the one that views, and the one that just can't help but react. Under Title 17, I am a member of an elite squad, also known as the Special Viewers Unit. These are the archives.
Hi, welcome back to another video. This video I call Telling Off Haters in my ASMR voice. So I hope you enjoy this video. Please give it a thumbs up and let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so normally, somebody who has an online presence and is well known would just ignore certain criticisms. Now the thing is the community of reactors and critics and haters that orbit myself, my being, are dumber, more ignorant, and more petty than most. They're not normal reactors. They're not normal tea channels because they create tea when there is none. But there is something that I see going around that I just want to correct and school people on, because there's a lot of ignorance when it comes to eating disorders. So I want to first say that people are picking apart my mukbangs. They claim to hate them. They don't like them. They can't stand the noises. Whatever. So now the tea on the mukbangs is that apparently every mukbang I do is massive and a binge, which most of them are neither. So let me explain. I will use the KFC mukbang as an example. Now, the KFC mukbang I just recently did today is neither a binge, and it is it's also not massive. I will show you an example of a massive KFC binge right here. Okay, as you can see, there are a couple of buckets of chicken. There is just a whole lot of food there, okay? And if you compare with my mukbang, I have 2 chicken wraps, which are large. Yes, I do comment that in my video. And I have one, it's actually an individual size of cheese fries because you can actually get smaller size or family size, as you can see pictured here. Yes, I come with receipts. Now, I don't think anyone would accuse this mukbanger of having a binge here on KFC because they're thin. So there's the stigma right there, just because I'm overweight, that anything I eat that is not healthy, and I will acknowledge that the food I eat in mukbangs a lot of the time are not healthy. I use my mukbang as a means to eat things that most people think I shouldn't eat, and to eat things that are just not really obviously healthy. So the thing is you're right, that probably isn't a binge for her. Just because somebody is eating large quantities of food in one sitting does not mean that it is considered a binge in terms of binge eating disorder. So I've explained this many times, but again, the community of reactors or haters or whatever, they are like talking to a brick wall. And once they've made up their mind about something about your life, they're always right and you're always wrong no matter what you do. Even if you prove yourself. Sorry, I'm removing the lid of a new pot so that my cat can sit inside and I can take cute pictures, and yeah. So, I'm always wrong. And everyone knows best. Everyone's an expert in this and that. They know more about your life, how you feel, than you do your own. Isn't that something? That's a true phenomenon right there. Now, I want to school you a little bit on what a binge is for me. And binge eating disorder is very personal, and each individual would probably define what they consider a binge a little different and from the next person. I would say that there are some base foundations that if you look up binge eating disorder, that certain organizations will tell you, these are the signs, the symptoms, things like that, that could be included. Just kind of like when everyone has a flu, not everyone has diarrhea, not everyone has the same symptoms. So basically, for me, and I told the doctor I've seen about this, just a reminder, I have been to a center, outpatient center for eating disorders in Ottawa when I lived there in Canada. Before that, I've seen a few therapists for a few sessions, quite a few sessions. I've been to inpatient therapy growing up as a teenager. And yada, yada, yada. So I've read books on binge eating, Brain Over Binge, The Binge Code, intuitive eating books. I've downloaded countless calorie counting apps, and I've tried many diets. But for me, a binge, when I enter binge mode, we'll call it, it's not just about how much food I'm eating. And I can tell you right now, you're not going to see me actually have a binge in terms of binge eating disorder, which is when I binge eat, on camera. There's a big, big difference between overeating and binge eating. And the difference is a very psychological one more than physical. And it's psychological triggers that cause the physical binge eating. And in a mukbang, it's planned, it's calculated, it's done, there's a mean to it, there's a reason for it. Mukbang is a huge thing on the internet. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only overweight one to do it. And I'm also not the only overweight one with health problems to do it as well. A lot of people don't talk about their personal lives. Usually mukbangers don't, a lot of them. So I understand the reception for that. People are concerned because I do talk a lot about my health problems. People know I have binge eating disorder. They know I have diabetes. But what you don't know on a daily basis is other things that I eat throughout the day. You don't know how often I actually do binge eat. And you don't know whether allowing myself to eat these foods actually does help or not with the actual binge eating. So I want to say that for me, a binge is, binge eating disorder is a psychiatric disorder. That's why when I went for outpatient treatment, I was, seen by a psychiatrist. I was put on Vyvanse. I was, went through the rigmarole, and yeah. So I mean, it obviously didn't cure me, but I felt like the doctor didn't have as much experience with binge eating as they do with other eating disorders. And that's because, again, if you have an eating disorder and you're obese and it shows, people just assume that you just overeat and you're just a pig. Basically, that's exactly how it goes. They don't think that you have disordered eating. And I'm here to tell you that regardless of what you think, it doesn't mean that you know. Okay, there's a big difference there, and you don't know what you're talking about. So for me, getting back to this, I go on tangents. For me, an actual binge is a psychological issue, and it's usually triggered by different things. But it's usually just a big overwhelming urge. I'm trying to think of how to describe it accurately. It's hard to describe. It's a feeling. It's like a overwhelming feeling. And it's not something I would want to see myself do, and it's not something I would want to show people. Throughout my whole life, I've had this. I used to sneak food, hide it in my bedroom. When I was living in a group home, I used to steal food from the fridge, bring it up to my bedroom, like big blocks of cheese and bread and whatever. So I binge in secret. It's something that I hide. I mean, I've told you guys the stories about the pizza boxes in my closet when I used to live with BB, you know? So it's like I do it in secret. I don't do it as a mukbang. If I've ever, I think I've shown maybe a couple of binges as more of a vlog or like an educational thing to show, to be transparent and show you what it's like for me. I may not even have, I don't remember that far back about what I did with the video, if I did a video like that. But for a mukbang, no, it's not like that. A mukbang is a mukbang. So even if you see this lady here with this huge mukbang, it's probably still not a binge. I mean, I don't know her life, but just because there's lots of food doesn't mean that it's a binge. Okay. So anyway, I would, you know, just get massive quantities of food when I'm alone, when I'm feeling a particular way. You know, sometimes you just feel the binge urge come on, and I don't really know how to describe it other than that. And it's very hard to control. It's very hard to fight. I mean, if it wasn't, there wouldn't be anyone with this disorder, right? It's notorious for being hard to fight, you know? So for example, like, if I was alone previously, I would just start eating anything I could grab. Like, sometimes I would even just eat like anything, literally. Like, I one time ate relish, like, because there was dill relish in the fridge, and that was the last thing I could binge on. You know, like 3 to 4 packets of noodles, of ramen, 5 little bags of chips, a whole tray of cheese, a whole block of cheese, just mindlessly autopilot, just not even thinking about it. And then after you binge eat, you have this more psychological side effect of just this overwhelming feeling of guilt and like shame and just ickiness. You know, you cringe at yourself and you're like, you feel defeated. It's this overwhelming feeling of defeat and hopelessness, and that you don't have control over your own self, and you don't understand it. And it's a totally different dark feeling. It's a dark place, and it's not my mukbangs at all. My mukbangs are planned. They are mostly calculated, sometimes no, but you know, trying to do better with that. They have a purpose, and they're not the same at all. If I overly restrict myself, it's a disaster, you know, for binge eating. My life needs to be more structured and everything like that. Yes, I know that. You know, but I have a million problems, but binge eating in a mukbang is not one of them. And for it to be called a binge is very misleading to people, and it's wrong. It's false information. It's complete bullshit. And you know, my KFC mukbang was massive. Wow. I don't know if it's a camera angle or what, But I don't know if people don't watch my mukbangs till the end either, because I didn't finish the food. I had one of the wraps. I had a few bites of the second one, and I didn't even finish the cheese fries. So, I really don't know where that was massive. I mean, comment below if you can eat a whole wrap and half of cheese fries. I really, really just think it's just complete BS and stupid and misinformation, and it's false, and it's a desperate attempt at content. And it's really just at this point, these people are just like dingleberries, and they just don't fall off, and they need to be dropped into the toilet and flushed away, because that's where you belong, in the crapper. Your content is crap. It's desperate, and I have every right to do mukbangs and eat just like everyone else, even if I have diabetes, even if I have a binge eating disorder, because none of you are doctors and none of you are are experts on an eating disorder. And I'm sure if you were, you wouldn't be in Gore World. You probably have a life and an education. But so, yeah, this is why I've decided to keep my personal life offline, because, despite the mukbangs, my blood sugars are still the same. They're more than cut in half than what they were. They've gone from 24 mmol down to 11, and that's on the higher side. Sometimes they're 8, sometimes they're 9, sometimes they're 10, but not usually higher than 11. And which is a big improvement, and I still have time to get it down even more. You don't see the little efforts I do throughout the day and stuff like that. So you don't know. But because you don't know, Anyway, that's what I wanted to basically rant about, is just all of the misinformation. Nobody makes an educated video whatsoever on actual accurate information. So I'm telling you from, having this my whole life, what a binge is for me. And honestly, no strangers on the internet have the right to tell me what a binge is. None. When it comes to my eating disorder, that's exactly the bottom line. And it's just BS. So anyway, the worst thing is a lot of people criticizing what I eat. If they had the gall and the nerve to show themselves and their life, they eat the same thing. I mean, you're going to tell me you never eat a dish of fries with one wrap? That's massive? Okay. I know people don't agree with my eating style, but I'm not ever going to be one to... And I've decided this after trying these diets, after just failing after fad diet after fad diet. I'm not ever going to completely cut carbs. I'm not ever going to completely cut junk food and go vegetarian, keto, carnivore. I'm not going to do it. So, I don't know how many mukbang videos or how many things you're going to see me eat that you have to keep bitching about, but it's just, it's beating a dead horse at this point. I mean, I don't know. I guess it sells, but I was just coming here to tell you that you're not right about my videos. They're not a binge, and a lot of them are not massive. A lot of the time I don't even finish my food. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but there are mukbangers who eat way more. People bigger, people my size, people thinner. And you don't know. Maybe those people who are thin have binge eating disorder, but they don't gain weight for whatever reason. Maybe they purge, maybe they just work out a lot. That's a form of restricting, is excessive exercise, but you don't know. So why speak about something serious like that you don't know about? People who are thin and have binge eating disorder would not be criticized that way. It's very unhealthy for them too. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy thing to have that disorder, big or small. So anyway, I don't care. Think what you want, but the misinformation is just out of this world. So I wanted to come on here and correct that and just let you know personally what a binge is for me in regards to binge eating disorder. And also just call you out, call those of you who are, oh my gosh, that's a massive portion. I could feed my family of 8. Well, then you need to have your family, given to someone else because you're underfeeding them. If your family of 8 can eat 1 wrap, you have something wrong with you. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I'm done with my bitchy video. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.